According to Open Door's earnings reports, they had a net loss of $928 million between July and September. That is up from a loss of just $57 million in the third quarter of 2021. Now, we all know what happened to Zillow when they reported last year that they lost $881 million. They got out of the iBuying business. In a shareholders letter, Open Door attributed $573 million of its net losses to inventory valuation adjustments. In other words, they reduced the price of the homes they had on the market. The reality is they are losing a lot of money. So where does this leave Open Door? Will they continue to buy homes in the Arizona market, further destroying our real estate market and other markets for that matter? As I've talked about in other videos, the iBuyer is currently our distressed seller. This is what the distressed seller looks like in our market currently. These are the sellers that are reducing their price over and over and over again just to get a sale. Open Door co-founder and CEO Eric Wu said this: "In the third quarter, we accelerated the resale velocity of our existing inventory and have significantly increased spreads on new acquisitions. These actions ensure we are prioritizing sell-through to improve the health of our inventory on a resale basis." In other words, they are lowering the price of the homes that they currently have active on the market. They are no longer offering just anything for the home to be bought, and they are no longer buying just anything and everything. During that investor call, Wu also said this: "We're at peak uncertainty in this moment, which is in turn prompting Open Door to become more risk adverse." Just like I said, they are not buying every house anymore. So in total, Open Door lost $954 million between the beginning of 2022 and the end of September. The vast majority of these losses, which are significantly higher than the $471 million the company lost in the first 9 months of 2021, took place during the third quarter. The company's inventory valuation adjustments on existing homes were the major contributor to the company's total 2022 losses. Now, remember what inventory valuation adjustments are. They're price reductions. So this is the one tool that Open Door has to go to get these homes sold and off their books, reducing their prices. Now, I have seen them do some seller concession offerings, but they're kind of playing with that. They're offering it sometimes and they're taking that away. So they are leaning heavily into the price reduction realm. Now, because these homes were all purchased with cash, it does make our market much healthier. We are not seeing a flood of short sales or foreclosures come to our market because there's no mortgage on them, which is a good thing. But it doesn't change my opinion that iBuyers are a majority of the reason that we are in the situation we're in with the masses of price reductions. They ran the prices up, and their only way to combat that is to continually lower their price to sell these homes. Resale sellers, on the other hand, while they will lower their prices a bit, they have a limit to where they will go. If it doesn't sell, they'll take it off the market. They will either stay or put it on the market for rent. iBuyers, on the other hand, these are vacant homes that need to be sold. Okay, so I wanted to jump in here so that you could see with your own eyes what is going on with these Open Door homes. These are just sales from Open Door. And this is going to show you what the original list price was, what they reduced the list price to before they got a contract, and what it sold for. So let's take a look at a few of these. So here's one that originally listed for $743,000. They had to reduce the price all the way to $572,000 before they got a contract. And when it sold for $550,000. So here's another one. It originally listed for $700,000. They had to reduce the price to $522,000 before they got a contract at $530,000. Now, as you see, it did end up selling a little higher than their final list price, but it still sold significantly lower than their original list price. Here's another one. It originally listed for $495,000. They had to reduce the price to $403,000 before they got a contract, and it sold for $394,000. These are just some of the reasons why I tell buyers that are looking for a deal, I would start specifically with the Open Door seller and really dig into that and look into those homes first. In an article from Bloomberg, this is what they said, that roughly 44% of Open Door's resales in the third quarter were for less than the company's purchase price. And I wanted to share this graph that they put together for you just to show the profit and loss and the significant difference over time from January to October, which is what you can see here. Black is profit, blue is loss. As we get further and further on in the year, you can see it start to drastically shift. And in September, that's when the big numbers shifted. In an article by Inman, they said that Open Door's losses highlight the challenges facing the iBuyer business model right now. And Open Door reported earnings just a day after it announced that they were laying off about 550 workers, or roughly 18% of its workforce. The company also cut ties with some third-party vendors and embarked on a variety of other cost-cutting measures. Those efforts follow news from September that the company was selling homes at a loss for the first time ever. Remember that chart we just looked at from the Bloomberg article? If you remember, September, there was a drastic difference between their profit and loss. So where does Opendoor go from here? They have just launched a new product called Opendoor Exclusives, and Eric Wu says this about it. It is well suited to a period of economic uncertainty. The company will still buy homes directly from consumers in its new marketplace. It will also give consumers the option of listing their properties on Opendoor's website. The idea is to help homeowners maximize proceeds by letting them choose between offers from Opendoor, as well as regular shoppers and institutional landlords who may be willing to pay higher prices. So do you remember earlier this year when Opendoor was fined $62 million for making false claims to sellers that they would make more money by selling with them? I'm seeing a pattern here. Sellers pay Opendoor a fee regardless of which offer they choose, and Wu is aiming for the new service to account for more than 30% of transactions by the end of next year. To get there, Opendoor will have to convince buyers to show up. Wu is betting that shoppers will come for access to listings they can't see anywhere else, and the promise of an e-commerce-like experience that's free from bidding wars. Guys, we haven't had bidding wars since May or June of this year. Mike Del Prey, who tracks real estate tech companies as a scholar in residence at the University of Colorado Boulder, said this: "The MLS isn't universally popular, but efforts to get around it have fallen short. In Opendoor's case, the company has built a business around simplifying complex transactions. The new marketplace risks undermining that proposition." He goes on to say this: "Opendoor talks about speed and certainty, which they're able to do because they're buying a house. A marketplace reintroduces pain into the process. That's a head scratcher for me." I agree with his interpretation of this wholeheartedly. I do not see how this reduces the stress of home buying or selling in any way, shape, or form. You are now going to not be dealing with a professional. You're going to be dealing with an employee that is answering the phone and pushing papers. A real estate transaction is a complex transaction, and having somebody that you can call and talk to and have a personal relationship with makes all the difference in the world. I could see some consumers feeling like this is a great option, but I don't see a lot of consumers feeling that way. Now, if you like this video, make sure you take a look at this one where you can see more specifics on how these iBuyers are affecting the Arizona market. If I can answer any questions for you, please feel free to reach out and give me a call. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.